I just finished The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and it's a banger. And I want to talk about why, as a business owner, I like reading fiction. First off, because it's fun, because it's inspiring, and because it makes you a better storyteller, which is what marketers are. Religious text, arguably some of the most persuasive stories there are stories. Now, fantasy writers like C.S. Lewis are this Venn diagram of a painter, a general, an artist. You design worlds, you name lands, you invent geography. World building is like this massive variable where you can't just like make stuff up or just randomly place it in 1950s New York. You have to build the whole world. And big stories turn into big businesses with movies, merch, podcasts, toys. Like there's some multinational consumer goods company in the US that's paying salaries to executives, putting kids through college, renting office buildings, all because their most popular product is like a toy lion named Aslan that's selling hundreds of thousands of units a year. So for you less cool people that don't spend your free time reading children's books, here's some context. The Chronicles of Narnia was first written by C.S. Lewis in like the 1950s, 1960s. There's about 7 books, and 100 to 150 pages each, and they collectively make up the Chronicles of Narnia. Now, the most famous book in the series is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was not my favorite. And I know that's kind of different because it is most people's favorites, but what I learned was it lacked adventure and novelty for me because I already knew where it was going and my expectations were just too high, but the other 6 books didn't have that. I didn't know where they were going and it was a new adventure the whole time, which was just a good reminder for me in terms of storytelling. Now, the final book, The Last Battle, Narnia gets destroyed. You enter heaven, some of the characters don't, and C.S. Lewis threads the reasons why. You've got faith, you've got believers, you've got non-believers, different gods, allegiance to this, allegiance to that, and it does it in like 10 pages of a children's parable. It's insane. So I had to reread it, the chapters, just because it was so impressive. And it's just wild that this is a children's book and you're reading it as an adult and you're like, damn, dude, I see what you just did there. That was really dope. Now, notably and famously, C.S. Lewis is a Christian, and there's heavy religious sort of influence throughout. And a few weekends ago, the Wall Street Journal put out an article about Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings, just talking about how they've endured over the generations. And they make the argument that they've endured because they're connected to these stories around the Bible and things that people infinitely wrestle with. By the way, C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien were bros who started a writers club at a pub in England, and you would get together and they'd talk stories. So if you ever could do dinner with somebody who's passed away and have that conversation, like who would you do it with? I would for sure want to be a part of that meeting with Tolkien and Lewis, cranking beers, listening to stories. So my favorite character in the Chronicles of Narnia is Reepicheep. Now, Reepicheep is a mouse. He's a warrior. He's a gentleman. He bows to greet you. He's the ultimate alpha male. He completely stole my heart in this story, and he takes no shit from nobody. To settle disagreements, he challenges peoples to duels, and his default response to everything is like, let's just get our swords out and just charge them straight on. Which, I mean, I just ate it up. So anyways, in honor of Reepicheep, I close my summary here of the Chronicles of Narnia with a quote from him. If you are a foe, we do not fear you. And if you are a friend, your enemies shall be taught the fear of us.